Presentation, we'll take a look at some issues concerning compatibility. And of course, this is always something that you need to take into account when upgrading your operating system. But Windows 10 has been designed with compatibility in mind. So beginning with hardware, as long as your current devices are running Windows 7, Windows 8, or Windows 8.1, you should find that the device compatibility is quite high with Windows 10. Now, the overall hardware requirements for Windows 10 are readily available online, so you can just search those up. But I would say the more likely issues that you might encounter would just be driver related. So the hardware itself is still compatible, you just might need an updated driver. Now, of course, you also need to consider the application compatibility, and again, Windows 10 has been designed with this in mind, so your existing desktop applications or Win32 applications really should still run without any kind of change in their configuration. But, of course, there can always be issues, and this really depends on what the application is and how it was built. But if, for example, it interfaces with Windows at a very low level, very close to the operating system or the kernel, if you will, or if it uses undocumented APIs, or if it simply followed weak coding practices, then certainly you may discover issues, but you won't really know until you try in this kind of scenario. Now, for Windows Store apps, there should be very high compatibility. Again, the Store apps are relatively new in their architecture, and they haven't really changed much since the Windows RT releases of those, which were available for Windows 7 and Windows 8 and 8.1. But again, architecturally, not much change to the Store apps, so they should remain compatible. And as far as web apps are concerned, as long as it is supported by HTML5, then you really shouldn't have any issue there. But if you do encounter problems, again, Internet Explorer 11 is still available in Windows 10 for backward compatible sites or any kind of app. Now, when it comes to testing for those compatibility issues, the general approach is to try to identify the mission-critical applications first and clearly focus your attentions on those applications to try to get them into a compatible configuration before turning your attention to the less critical applications. Maybe try to come up with some kind of a pilot group where you can test any kind of fix to make sure that is being implemented correctly. Then, as mentioned, try to identify the less critical